Tom and Jack from Cultaholic.com, and we are lighting a very special birthday cake for a birthday we missed yesterday. Jack, you right
there? Good. Yeah, fine.
We'd like to wish a happy 60th birthday to Lord David Meltzer. And in the spirit of Dave Meltzer, there might be cream in this, there might not. We don't know.
What's this? Is this when
It's my impression of Meltzer.
Oh, lovely, right.
Happy birthday, Dave. That's in the post.
I'll be Brian. Of course there's cream, Dave. Of course there is.
Here's the news. An injured SmackDown superstar looks to be out for up to a year. Chris Jericho has taken shots at NXT. And a WWE Raw Superstar return date has been confirmed. Find out who later on. So Dave was working on his birthday, believe it or not.
He was. Yes.
Shocking behaviour. And he reported an update on Xavier Woods, who suffered quite a nasty injury whilst on tour in Australia this week.
He injured his... Well, at first it was reported that he'd injured his Achilles tendon. Now it's sadly been reported that he's actually torn his Achilles tendon, which is quite a difficult injury to... quite a lengthy process to recover from that. And obviously we want to wish him the speediest of recoveries, but at the moment it seems like that'll take, I think it was reported between 9 months and a year. I know, it's really unfortunate.
And it's one of those injuries where it's not even that he can come out to the ring and be a part of the New Day, because you think, oh, okay, well, maybe he doesn't have to wrestle all the time.
Right.
I mean, that's an injury where you have just got to rest it up as much as you can. You can't really be on the road with an injury like that.
I was going to say, I suppose you can't be on the road. I was going to say that Woods is the perfect kind of guy who could potentially do a bit of commentary while he was waiting to recover, but again, it's much easier to recuperate when you're at home rather than when you're travelling around everywhere.
Far much easier, and it sucks because what this means for the New Day is I doubt they'll do a New Day breakup angle now. It seems wrong too while Xavier Woods is away.
Yeah,
but it sounds really bad because I know that Xavier's injured and stuff. I think I'm sad for Kofi, because I feel like now this drops him further into the tag division with Big E,
right.
Unless they're planning something really, really big and wonderful. Like, I think Kofi Kingston could always sort of stand a little bit above in the New Day, because Xavier and Big E would do all the tag team heavy lifting, and now it looks like Kofi is being drafted away from whatever he was doing to fill in the gap left by Xavier Woods.
Yeah, apparently it was also like, it wasn't even one of those ones where it's just like a spot gone wrong or a move. I think he hit the ropes and then it just happened and he just fell. And it was just a sad
something
one.
So simple, and it's taken him out of the game for a year. Speedy recovery to one Xavier Woods. So Grado, British superstar, former World of Sport champion Grado, launches his podcast today, and we wish them lots of love at Wrestling Daft. His first guest...
Wrestling Daft podcast.
It's good, isn't it? I like it.
It's good, yeah.
His first guest is Chris Jericho, and he asked Chris Jericho a couple of questions about the Wednesday Night Wars, and Jericho was very outspoken on his opinion from NXT. We've got the transcript of it now.
Shall I read it?
I would love you to, sir.
Jericho said, NXT is still the minor league. Those guys are still unknown performers. It's not a competition to us, and I know we'd win because we have more star power. When you look at the end of our first week of TV, who was out there at the end? Chris Jericho, we know him. That's himself.
That's him talking to himself, talking about himself.
Dustin Rhodes, we know him. John Moxley, we know him. He used to be another name, but we know who that is. Jim Ross is commentating. I know that guy. Our competition is Raw, is SmackDown, is Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and all those guys. It was a stroke of genius by Vince McMahon to put NXT on against us because it took the focus off the main show in AEW to put it on the minor league and AEW.
Interesting time. So Jericho is saying that the reason that NXT is there is because they will, if Dynamite ran up against Raw and SmackDown, they
would put them on a higher platform naturally.
Yes.
Right, in the eyes of many fans.
It's Vince being clever and keeping AEW there. What are your thoughts on Chris Jericho's comments as the resident AEW guy?
I feel like there's some truth to it, but I feel like at the same time, I'm also a fan of NXT, so I agree with him saying that WWE putting NXT up against AEW may have been a deliberate smart move because it does naturally just sort of put AEW in a lower bracket than Raw and SmackDown. But at the same time, I disagree with him saying that NXT is the minor leagues, these guys are unknown performers, because to the sort of fans who I think would go and seek out AEW, I think that NXT is also very appealing to that same demographic, more hardcore fans and fans who watch this channel, I suppose. I think that a lot of the best work that's going on in WWE at the minute is NXT.
Here's a slightly maybe questionable opinion from myself. When Jericho talks about how the reason for AEW's success is its names. It's like, hey, I put this channel on, I know them, I know them, I know them. They're all guys from WWE, right? Do you know what that sounds like? It sounds like the way they talked about Nitro in 1996 and 1997. The fact that you could put WCW on and see a lot of guys you didn't know against the WWF, whereas a lot of guys you didn't know.
I think I agree with you there as well.
And that was a system that Jericho really rallied against. I think now I'm very well aware, before we all lose our minds, that Darby Allin was in the main event the other week. So there is the difference here is there is very much a conscious push to give new talent that opportunity in the spotlight. But it was just interesting how Jericho's comments felt a bit WCW late 90s.
Yeah, and I understand why they would want to use big names at first to try and draw attention to their new product.
Absolutely,
that's why it makes sense, I suppose, to make Jericho the first champion, because he's a big star. But at the same time, that's not what draws me to AEW. It's more the overall feel of the show and the booking and the way that it's presented. I think it's far more appealing because of that than any one specific star or person on the roster.
But we got Keith Lee, mate.
Yeah, right, fair enough. Well done.
Got Keith Lee, mate.
Pretty good, isn't
Voice smooth as caramel. I want Keith Lee to start a podcast. or like a series of audiobooks to help you sleep at night.
Because he's got a lovely voice.
Oh, a beautiful voice. That man is a beautiful man. Tessa Blanchard's been making some big old waves in Impact Wrestling, like a surfer. But potentially
they make the waves happen.
They do. Yeah. They are the gods of the water. Yes. I watched it in that film California Dreams, the TV show from off of the 90s. But however, those waves could be stopping soon because Tessa Blanchard's contract is coming to an end with Impact Wrestling, Jack.
Yes, there's news that she could be potentially going to WWE or AEW. Just because her contract is coming to an end, you'd expect someone of her caliber to go to one of the big two. Would you not?
It certainly feels that way, and this is what
Has she said anything about this?
Well, this is what Ryan McKinnell from Busted Open Radio has intimated with the contract coming to an end.
Oh, he said that she's done completely. I thought that it was coming to an end. But is it finished now?
Well, this is it. It's a bit up in the air. It's certainly like the contract coming to an end means that might be it. And Impact Wrestling does have a tendency to not keep on to guys. They really if you look at I was thinking about this on the way into work the other day, because quite often on the walk into work I'll think about, either how my neighbour Keith has upset me, or Bound for Glory cards over the years. And if you look at each Bound for Glory, it's a very different lineup almost every single year. Yeah, just because they don't seem to keep people.
They've lost a lot this year as well with AEW, like the Lucha Brothers, Santana and Ortiz, and all these kind of guys. In fact, their tag division's really suffered as a result, particularly. But is there a clue in what they're doing with Tessa Blanchard in storyline? Because they were really pushing her hard in the men's division, and she seemed like she was going to be a key figure. She main evented Slammiversary, and then there was this whole oh god, the candle. It's fine. There was this whole, I think, you can tell this video is shot in linear fashion because
that's it. Now you'll know. The candle goes back up. We put something back in.
But I feel as though she didn't win the ladder match at Bound for Glory. She came close and then was knocked off the ladder at the last second. If she'd won that, would that be more of a signal that she's got a title shot then? Is she gonna
quite possibly. I won't buy it until Tessa Blanchard puts the whole thing on Twitter saying it's been a blast, thank you, love you, bye. Yeah. But it would be devastating if she did, because she has been a big part of it. And she was speaking to Chris Van Vliet recently. Yeah. She had an interview with Chris, and she was saying that her gut instinct was to, back last year, sign a contract for Impact. It felt like a good place to be where she could be her. And she stands on the precipice of becoming the first female Impact World Champion. And I think that's really exciting. Like the fact that Brian Cage is your champion, Tessa Blanchard's on the underneath. If you search on YouTube, you can watch Brian Cage versus Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, really?
It's already happened in another federation, and it's phenomenal. I want to see that. Yeah. I want to see that in Impact Wrestling. Please don't go, Tessa.
I want to see it as well, but wherever she goes, I think she's good enough that she can be a huge success in any of those three promotions.
Oh, yeah. I think personally she'd stand out more in AEW than WWE.
Yes,
but
I think so as well.
I'm happy to be wrong on that. Extra match added to SmackDown for tonight. It's a really loaded episode of Friday Night SmackDown, and it's on FS1 tonight. Been preempted because of other sporting shenanigans.
Is it the baseball?
Probably the
basketball.
Basket rugby ball.
Yes.
It's the hand egg. They can't do it because of the hand egg. So as well as a face-off between Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, as well as Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair on Miz TV, we're now getting a tag match between Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode against Kofi Kingston and Big E. A lot of former champions in this match.
Yeah, and I'm expecting, I reckon, them to reference Xavier Woods' injury at some point before the match. Maybe they might do some sort of reference, because the New Day are very good referencing real life things in storyline and keeping it like entertaining at the same time. I remember when Woods was injured last time, and it wasn't as serious or as lengthy as an injury as this one, but they brought him back with a new trombone and stuff, and he was all Francesca, let's use the proper name, and it was all just really, they're really good at managing to not make light of, that's the wrong word, but to always keep things positive. Just what's the power of course it is.
It's the power of positivity. When life hands you lemons, you buy them a new trombone.
Yeah, that's right.
The famous phrase goes. Big night on SmackDown tonight. Sam Driver will be here tomorrow with a brand new episode of SmackDown Graded. He's going to watch everything on SmackDown and give you everything you need to know from tonight's shenanigans. And finally, the return of Naomi is this weekend, Jack. Are you getting the cat excited?
I'm getting the cat excited because Naomi, right, is not one of those superstars. She was never one of my big favourites in the women's division, but at the same time, I have missed her without realising. Now that the idea of her coming back's on the table, I was like, oh yeah, Naomi's been gone. And I'm quite excited to see her come back. She's not coming back to a TV show yet, though. She's not coming back to Raw or SmackDown. She's been advertised for a house show in Puerto Rico on Saturday, tomorrow. So it's pretty big. It's
nice when they come back at a house show like that, and it's just a case. It's a nice place to do it, to shake off some of the ring rust because you've been away. I'm excited to see her. She's somebody who I seem to remember when the last draft happened, not this one, the one before, where the superstars were all shaken up. I felt that Naomi really made a name for herself in the SmackDown women's division that was born.
Yes,
from that, like the whole Feel the Glow thing, the entire act that she had, and the entire style that she wrestled was so different that she really stood out, and I'm happy to see her back.
I mean, she got a big moment as well. WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, her hometown, she won the SmackDown Women's Championship. It wasn't it was kind of in the difficult part of the show just before the main event, but I remember there was a huge reception for her because it was her hometown. But I think part of it as well, because WrestleMania attracts an audience from all over the place, part of it will also have just been because she's really good at getting the crowd on her side as a babyface. She's really energetic and enthusiastic. We love it.
Officially the most successful Funkadactyl.
Yeah.
All the others, not so much.
No.
Don't blow out the candle for Dave.
Yeah, okay.
Love you, bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.